Hey! How are you, folks? Welcome to the show Wednesday. Streaming live, YouTube, Facebook. Always live on a Wednesday.
We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
You're goddamn right we will.
I want all of you to enjoy your cake. So, enjoy.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? What is going on? Billy Barr, Attorney General Billy Barr, getting his balls busted by, another. How many fucking hearings do they ever do anything to move the country forward? Anyhow, he's on the fucking griddle. Attorney General William Barr told the Senate panel he's reviewing whether federal authorities improperly spied on the Trump campaign during the now completed inquiry into whether the campaign conspired with the Kremlin. We all know the answer, us people who don't fucking stay glued to Joe Scarborough and Rachel Maddow and CNN and the LA Times and the New York Times and all the other fucking liars who made asses of themselves. Now Barr comes along and now they're getting nervous. Just listen to the tone of Nita Lowey, or Lowy. She's 112 years old. Listen to her tone in this clip.
Your memo stated, quote, while this report does not conclude that the president committed a crime, it also does not exonerate him. Yet President Trump has publicly stated that this report is a complete and total exoneration. Can you tell us who is factually accurate? And will the release report include details on the obstruction issue and why, as you noted, the president is not exonerated, or will that information be redacted?
I've already explained the information that's going to be redacted from the report, the 4 categories. That is what's going to govern the redactions. And, in fact, the special counsel and his staff are helping us select the information in the report that falls into those 4 categories. But again, the report, I'll be in a position, as I said, within a week to release the report. People can then read the report. I've already promised the judiciary committees that I would appear as soon as they're able to schedule a hearing after the report is released. So I'm not going to discuss it any further until after the report is out.
Where's the spying clip I sent you? Is that part of it?
Lowy doesn't speak in that one.
That's the one I wanted first.
I know, but then you said,
No.
check out the tone of Nita Lowey in this clip. So I went to the Nita Lowey clip.
Oh, all right. As long as you get the spying clip.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. She speaks. Go ahead.
You're not suggesting, though, that spying occurred.
Pause.
I don't.
You're not suggesting spying occurred. Yeah, it's exactly what was suggestion. Are you that fucking ensconced in your own little lib bubble? You're not suggesting Obama administration fucking spied on Trump during the Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Does Bill Barr look like Elton John? Is it me? He looks like... He looks like Elton John. If you haven't seen Elton lately, that's what he looks like. But you're not suggesting that. No, I'm fucking saying that's exactly it, you dumb. Nice for... Go ahead.
I guess you could... I think there's a spying did occur. Yes, I think spying did occur.
You are correct, sir.
This committee owes an apology. This committee owes an apology. Apology, Senator.
You're not suggesting... Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Oh, my aching stem. You're not suggesting you're going to call us out on our bullshit for the last 2 years and make us look worse than we already do. You're not going to point out to the nation, are you? That we're fucking lying cocksuckers? Is that what you plan? Yeah, I do. Can you imagine after all that? They think it still should be one-sided. The Attorney General said plan to examine the genesis and the conduct of the FBI's investigation into possible ties between the Trump campaign and Russia, launched in the midst of 2016. The Department Inspector General is already conducting a review of surveillance warrants authority used to eavesdrop on former campaign aide Carter Page in October 2016. Barr said that effort should be completed by June. Republicans in Congress have complained repeatedly that the FBI targeted Trump's campaign for political reasons, revealing text messages between two senior officials, McCabe and Strzok and his girlfriend, involved in the probe, who expressed their personal contempt for Trump. So far, however, investigations into Congress have not produced evidence that the extraordinary inquiry into whether Trump's campaign cooperated with Russian efforts to sway the 2016 election that put him in office were politically motivated. Yes, that's all been proven. What are you, fucking dog styling me? Go take a look at Peter Strzok and his girlfriend's texts. What are you, shitting me? Yes, we have an insurance policy in case Hillary loses. The girlfriend says he won't be president, will he, Trump? And Strzok says, no, he will not. We have an insurance policy. Said it in Andy McCabe's office. So fucking stop it. Of course it was politically motivated. What the fuck?
Thank you.
Barr told lawmakers Wednesday he planned to ask other Justice Department officials to examine whether the department abused its surveillance powers, which they did. He said he had not formed a view of whether the department or the other intelligence agencies acted improperly, but the sensitivity of using national security tools to investigate the conduct of a political campaign required scrutiny. Jesus, how outrageous that you even think that. They were actually shocked that somebody's going to call them on their fucking bullshit. In a perfect world, Obama would be in front of this being grilled, and maybe he will if they dig deep enough, and the thick-ankle dogface who paid for the fucking Steele dossier that said Trump was in Russia watching hookers piss on themselves. You know what? If that was true, he would have won by a landslide. Hey, this guy's just like me. Only I didn't do it. I didn't do it in a beautiful hotel in Moscow. I did it at a Motel 6 in Denver. And they weren't hookers. They were two, a girl that worked the coat room and a fat waitress. But hey, P is P. Anyhow, the Attorney General has said he expected to release a redacted version of Special Counsel's report within a week. At the same time, Barr asserted that some of the parts of the report must remain secret because they contain grand jury information. Remember the clip I showed of fucking Gerald Nadler after Bill Clinton was impeached saying, no, we can't release all that. Some of that, there's grand jury testimony that has to be redacted, but now he's singing a different tone. They're all so full of shit. Please dig deep. Have somebody get arrested. They contain grand jury information, sensitive national security material, interfere with ongoing inquiries, or information that could be damaging to the reputations of those who were not charged in a special counsel's investigation. The Attorney General said Mueller and his staff were working to help remove sensitive information from the report so it could be released to Congress and public. And he defended the summary conclusions he delivered to Congress last month and the speed at which the conclusions were made. They were busting his balls about that. Boy, it took 2 years, and you wrote up a summary and you put it out there in a week or two, right after. And he was like, "Yeah, I had help from 18 other lawyers, Mueller's office." Oh, dumb snatch. I guess that's the clip we already showed, right? I only had two. Lawmakers closely questioned Barr on his decision to release a bare-bones summary, which he has the right to do, of the report last month, in which the Attorney General said Mueller had not found a conspiracy involving President Donald Trump's campaign and the Russian government, and they're still busting balls about that. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yesterday, Barr told the House committee he had no plans to ask for a court's permission to disclose grand jury material, but said he would consult with Congress after he releases the report to determine whether he can provide additional information. House Democrats vowed last week they would seek Mueller's testimony in addition to that of Barr, who also is expected to address the matter for congressional committees in early May. Justice, however, has defended Barr's handling of the report, suggesting that the full document was so packed with secret grand jury information that revealing even portions of it immediately would have been impossible, and they're still whining, these fucks. Let's see what happens, folks. Let's see if we can't end up with somebody on the left in handcuffs going to jail like Manafort did or like Roger Stone. Let's see if it's even possible. How Peter Strzok isn't in jail and his fucking ugly girlfriend. It's all going to come out. It's all unraveling. Yeah. Good luck to you all. See if Sarah Silverman will be tweeting about that. You're wrong about Netanyahu too, Sarah. Wah, wah. What else going? Oh, look who's back in the news. Minnesota Democrat, the Jew hater, Ilhan Omar, facing more backlash after her speech at a Muslim rights group's event in which she described the September 11th attack as some people did something. That's what she said.
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!
What a scumbag. Omar spoke at a council on American Islamic relations. That's known as CARE. They're also a fucking hate group, by the way. Fundraiser last month where she called upon other Muslim Americans to make people uncomfortable, that's in quotes, with their activism and presence in the society and criticized the Jewish state. What a little shit stirrer. Nice going, Minnesota. Thanks for delivering this dumb whore to us. Boy. But another part of the speech surfaced on social media early this week in which Omar described the terror attacks perpetrated by Al-Qaeda. Oh, now she's whitewashing it. Who are you giving the finger? I'll come over there and slap that rag off your head. CARE was founded after the 9/11 attacks because they recognized that some people did something, she said, and that all of us were starting to lose access to our civil liberties. Total fucking lie. Total lie. Oh, the Patriot Act, did that scare you? We had to... Remember? Oh, Muslim backlash, Islamophobia. One person was murdered by some idiot redneck in Arizona. The guy was a Sikh. He was an Indian working at a gas station. That was the extent of the backlash. So, how the fuck... Oh, boy. She's going to get reelected, too, I bet. The comments from the Minnesota freshman Democrat, still reeling from a number of anti-Semitic controversies, prompted Texas Republican Dan Crenshaw, you know the guy with one eye, him and Pete Davidson had that whole thing on SNL, Crenshaw to slam Omar for her description of the people. Some people did something. What was it? What do you mean? Who? Some people. Who? What was it? The Red Sox infield? Was it a bunch of Boy Scouts in the woods? Was it a boy band? Some people did something. They knocked down some buildings. Was it the Irish? He said, first member of Congress to ever describe terrorists who killed thousands of Americans on 9/11 as some people who did something. Crenshaw wrote in a tweet, unbelievable, he said. And he's right.
Durka, Muhammad Jihad. Haka Sherpa Sherpa, Bakala.
Every Democrat should be asked by the media if they disavow Ilhan statements. Every one of them tweeted Andrew Pollock, father of a Parkland High School shooting victim. Ilhan Omar isn't just anti-Semitic, she's anti-American, he says. Nearly 3,000 Americans lost their lives to Islamic terrorists on 9/11, yet Omar, diminish it as some people did something. Democrat leaders need to condemn her brazen display of disrespect, said GOP chairwoman Ronna McDaniel. Yeah, hold your fucking breath. CARE has been infamously listed as an unindicted, listen to this, co-conspirator in funding Hamas. Yet it's all right that she has relations with them, one of our congresswomen, stemming from the case against the Holy Land Foundation for Relief and Development, which led to millions of charitable dollars getting funneled to the Palestinian terrorist organization. And that's who Minnesota voted in. Nice going. She first came under fire for tweeting in 2012 that Israel has hypnotized the world. No, that was David Copperfield. May Allah awaken the people and help them see the evil doings of Israel. Ugh. She then drew a bipartisan uproar in February after she suggested politicians in the U.S. were bought by AIPAC, a nonpartisan organization that seeks to foster the relationship between the U.S. and Israel, and on she goes.
You stupid fucking blabbermouth cunt!
Hey. Thank you, Mr. Crenshaw, for standing up and calling this. How did she get fucking elected? How? I know you have 68 Somalis living in Minneapolis. Do they have that much voting power? How the frick did she get elected? The Democrats don't like the Jews, including Bernie, whom I'm starting to like. I mean, I hate his politics, but I just love that he's so out of his fucking mind. Omar then reignited the controversy, saying groups supportive of Israel were pushing members of Congress to have allegiance to a foreign country. Speaking of foreign country, why don't you go back to the third world shithole hence you came? I'm glad somebody called her out on her fucking nonsense. Oh, look at the flag. Wait a minute, it's not on fire. There should be black smoke coming off that. Huh? What's... Isn't there a picture of her peeing on that 3 seconds after they snapped that picture? Naughty, naughty girl, you're a naughty, naughty girl. Naughty girl.
Durka Durka, Muhammad Jihad. Haka Sherpa Sherpa.
Hakashibad. Oh my God, what has happened to our country? What has happened? I want to know how many Japanese were elected to Congress after December 7th. Let's pull up that figure. They couldn't. They were in internment camp. I know. This is how left-wing and how out of whack this country is, especially the media, especially ESPN. As I love sports stories because they intersect with, it's a microcosm of our society. Excuse me. Nick Bosa, do you know who he is? Plays for Ohio State. His brother's already in the NFL. I think he's a Miami Dolphin, not sure. Got a picture of Bosa? Put up a picture. That's Nick Bosa. Anyways, he's All-American Ohio State defensive end / linebacker. Anyways, he's hiding Donald Trump support ahead of the NFL draft. Nick Bosa has swiped some of his Twitter slate clean. The Ohio State defensive end, who's projected to be one of the top picks in this month's NFL draft, told ESPN he deleted certain posts, including a 2016 tweet in which he called Colin Kaepernick a clown due to his potential landing spot. He said, I had to. There's a chance I might end up in San Francisco because they have like the number 2 pick. Can you imagine this? This is where we're at. Bosa, 21, previously tweeted a picture of Donald Trump and Reagan with the caption GOATs. In other words, greatest of all times, per Sports Illustrated. God, oh my God, huh? ESPN also noted Bosa's online behavior grew increasingly bland leading up to the NFL Combine in early March, though he had previously praised the president during his time at Ohio State. We're at a point now in this country where a college kid going into the NFL can't say that he likes the current president. Are you fucking... And why are you, ESPN, Disney / libtards, why are you watching his tweet so closely? Huh? You just hoping something breaks? Let me get this straight. So black dudes can kneel during the national anthem. You know, I have no problem with that. But this guy put up that Reagan and Trump, greatest of presidents of all time. Holy shit, wipe that off Facebook. Before what? Before what? He drops a couple rounds in the draft, costing himself millions of dollars because he admits to liking Trump? What the fuck is going on? I wonder if we should have, let's go back to all the Facebook and social media of black dudes who voted for Obama and make a big stink. Well, that's different. No, it's not. This is fucking sickening that you have to hide the fact that you like the current administration because you're afraid you'll be punished. What does that say about the times we're living in? Fascist leftist fucks. That's what it says. And if you left that stuff up, remember, Tom Brady was getting shit. Brady was getting shit because he's friends with Trump. Even though Brady said, I don't agree with much of his policies, but he's still a friend, but still caught a load of shit. Just put, you know what, Bosa, show us some balls, put the picture and the quotes back up. And you know what? And if something happens to you, if you drop 3 rounds and shit, the NFL will hurt themselves even more. Do it. Grow a pair, put the shit back up there, say, fuck you, this is who I am. It worked for Trump during the 2016 campaign. Ryan, I thought you were going to something.
Malcolm Palm says the left are a bunch of psychotic, backstabbing, delusional idiots.
That is correct. Malcolm, you are correct, sir. You are on the money. Backstabbing, I'm not sure who they're backstabbing. Each other, I guess. Would like to see some of that footage. But it doesn't matter. They, no, they're unaccountable. They don't answer to the law. The fact that woman, you're not suggesting that there was spying on the trial. Yes, not only suggesting, we're going to dig deep. Everybody knows it. Shut off fucking Mika, Big Titted Brzezinski, and Hillbilly Eyes Joe Scarborough. And wake the fuck up. Put on Fox News for 5 minutes. I know Hannity's a Nazi, but he's only been right about all this shit. And anybody else who leans fucking right. But the fact that we're living in a time where a college football player has to scrub, it's not like he's on there with resting his balls in some co-ed's mouth while she's passed out. That would move him up a notch. It's not like he's on there fucking smoking a joint or shooting up or like Aaron Hernandez. He's got a handgun in the tweet and, he has to scrub the shit. What does that say about where we are? Anyhow, folks, do you want to get a personal video message from me? Or send it, I got a couple waiting right now, to a liberal that you want to set straight. I can tell your next door neighbor to kiss your ass. I can tell your ex she's a syphilitic whore. Or your boyfriend, he's a needle dick moron. I can sing happy birthday to your 3-year-old. Whatever you guys want. I'll put on a Marilyn Monroe wing. Sing happy birthday to little Timmy. But this is fun. I do it all the time. It's people just make requests. I make a little video. I send it to them. They send it to their friends to bust their balls. Somebody they hate at work. I can ruin their day. I can make their day. Just go to cameo.com. Fill out the information. Click on my profile. Fill out the information. Tell me what you'd like me to talk about. Be glad to do it. Enjoy it very, very much. Norm Macdonald is on there. Hannibal Buress, Jeff Ross, Brett Favre, a bunch of other comedians I can't even think of. But cameo.com. Soccer fan. Oh, more left-wing fascism. Soccer fan sues California DMV for rejecting Come on, you whites. Vanity plate. Come on, you whites. That's all. That's all he wanted to say, and that's somehow controversial in the dumbest state in the union. It's a good soccer song. Gotta watch my country. Going down the drain. We are all a fault now. We are all to blame. When letting us take over, we just let them come. I wonder if there was any meth in the fucking green room before they did that taping. A soccer fan says in a lawsuit that the California Department of Motor Vehicles violated his First Amendment rights by rejecting a personalized license plate he said would celebrate his favorite team, but which the DMV, the morons in California, determined might be deemed offensive. John Kotler applied for a plate. Ryan, can you focus? Thanks. John Kotler applied for a plate that would read COYW. It doesn't even say the words. Like anybody would know what the fuck that meant. It stands for, it's an acronym for Come On You Whites. Used by supporters of London-based Fulham Football Club, according to the federal lawsuit filed in L.A. Fulham players wear white jerseys. In denying the proposed plate, the DMV said the abbreviation could have racial overtones and carry connotations offensive to good taste and decency. What a fucking crock.
No, they're ignorant. That's ignorant.
Can you explain to me who that would offend? First of all, it's an acronym. Nobody's going to know what they're talking about. So that's how you know it's bullshit. So now you can't even, just the slogan, come on, you whites. It could be a Mexican driving it. It could be a guy from Germany. It could be a black. But again, because it has the words whites in it. That's how PC and fucked up we are, especially in California, with all this PC shit started. It's the First Amendment fucking right. They're pissing on it. Because it says It's got the letter W in it. Somebody might figure out that's somehow encouraging white people to do something. That's where we stand as a fucking nation. Congratulations, leftists. Are you fucking dog styling me? Come on, you whites. Who is that going to offend? Even if the words were written out on the plate. Oh, offensive to good taste. So just to say the word whites or imply anything about white people is in bad taste and indecent. That's the only logical fucking conclusion you can come to. The department's you know what's funny about that? You can't have something like that, but right next to it, you could have a bumper sticker that says, fucking, Trump's a fucking Nazi cocksucker. That's right next to the plate, but don't have an acronym that nobody would know about unless you were from Manchester. The department's rejection of the application violated his right to freedom of speech, said Kotler. That's his lawyer. You're goddamn right. He's a constitutional scholar at the USC Annenberg School for Communication and Journalism. Kotler's suit asked the court to declare the Department of Motor Vehicles criteria for personalized license plates as unconstitutional. Even a third grader would know that. He also wants the department to pay his court costs. Good for him. I want this guy as a lawyer. You can't fucking say that? You're going to be kidding. Nobody would know. In its rejection letter to Kotler, the Department of Motor Vehicles acknowledged the difficulties in balancing an individual's constitutional right to free speech and expression while protecting the sensibilities of all segments of our population. It's not your job to protect the sensibilities of certain segments or all of the population. It's not your fucking job. You should be able to have anything on there. Whoa, it might cause road rage incidents. People are yeah. Let's thin out the herd with the morons. This should be it. You should, if you're pro-abortion, you should be able to have a picture of a fucking dried up fetus on your license plate. If you're pro-gun, you should have a fucking AR-15. In a country that has free speech. Notice how every time there's a free speech issue, it's the rights, speech being crushed. Do you ever notice that? You fucking people are so ignorant in government, especially in California. That state is just horrible. I love my fans there, fucking love Rogan's fans, but as far as the politicians, just look at what's happened to your cities, whether it's San Francisco or LA. It's just a fucking nightmare. Oh, my God. Listen to this. In 1973, the California Court of Appeals upheld the Department of Motor Vehicles' standard of good taste and decency in rejecting a plaintiff's claim that his free speech was violated when the department rejected his requested license plate, Easy Lay, which I had in high school, and it paid off big time. Can you imagine? They said that yeah, I'm sure people behind that car that had a plate that said Easy Lay, they were so shocked they went off the road and hit a tree and fucking died. Are you dog styling me? You should have a pic. You should be able to put up "fuck me." Maybe the license plate should come with trigger warnings. The trigger state. Ryan, what's up? You leaning something?
There have been 4 Japanese Americans congressmen.
Yeah.
Two of which have been elected since 1941.
Oh, we're going back to. Okay, is that right? How many? 4 total?
4 total, all from California or Hawaii.
Yeah. Well, when was the first one elected after 1941?
There's just one in 1941, and the other one was 2013.
Anyhow.
You asked me to look it up.
Yeah, fucking 28 minutes ago when it was relevant to the conversation. Why don't you get a vanity plate that says dummy? Not a bad effort, though. I appreciate it. Constitutional scholar David Hudson said, "To me, courts should be very sensitive to viewpoint discrimination and should err on the side of protecting the individual's speech from government censorship." Yeah, we could all agree on that, but there's something called the Democrat Party. And remember the poll they did about a year ago, 40% of millennials think you should crack down on speech that's hurtful. You fucking fags, you fucking fags, you fucking fags. I don't mean that to gay. I mean, you know how I mean it. Kotler's being represented pro bono by the libertarian-leaning nonprofit Pacific Legal Foundation. Anyways, he says, you can call John a sports fan or a First Amendment expert, but the DMV's misguided efforts to regulate license plates have misbranded John as a race. Exactly. I'm still, again, it's an acronym that nobody would know what the fuck it's talking about. Somebody's going to go, what, Google it while they're in the car and go fucking crazy? That W's for white. Pull over. Do you understand how stupid you are, people who believe in this shit? It's the only thing, the First Amendment's the only thing that separates us from the garbage that's pouring over the southern border where they come from. They're trying to escape oppression like that. So they can come here and call Whitey a cracker and a piece of shit and Trump a Nazi and yeah. I want to get one that says, I don't know, I got to get Vanity play DMZ, blow me, BL. It's going to be a big plate. It's more of a billboard. Yeah, Ryan.
I got nothing. I'm just looking at you.
It's even more uncomfortable. Ryan said he's looking at me. Please come to Denver, she said no. Boy, why don't you come home to me? Rambling boy, why don't you settle down? The Funny Bone ain't your kind of club. Bernie Sanders' tax returns reveals that he is a millionaire, as he would say.
Fucking hypocrite.
Oh, I'm happy he's a millionaire. I mean, I am happy. I really am. I'm happy. What I'm not happy about is his viewpoint and opinion on other millionaires. That's what makes him a hypocritical cocksucker and a socialist. I have my tax returns. I am a millionaire. I plan on getting that down to $18,500 a year. I somehow made that much money. I wrote a book. That's not my fault. There's nothing wrong with that, Bernie. You shouldn't be ashamed of it. Look at Bernie. There he is getting a blowjob. I feel somebody licking my sack. This is the face I make when I'm coming. I got one word for you, Bran. I think he farted there. Look at the lady on the left. She's like, Jesus H. Christ, do I have mustard gas in my upper lip? I'm going to fucking die over here. America's most famous socialist is now a millionaire. He's a millionaire. I don't have a problem with that. Who's got a problem with that?
Oh, you'd rather have it down at the bank where the Jewish guys can leer at it? Yeah.
Bernie Sanders said Tuesday he would release 10 years of his tax returns by tax day on Monday and confirmed that he was now one of the millionaires he reviled throughout his political career. How did that happen, Bernie? Because you're just like us. Admit it. I wrote a best-selling book. If you write a best-selling book, you can be a millionaire too. He got all defensive and he said, fuck you, leave me alone. I'm a good writer. I once wrote an article in an erotic magazine saying when a woman's having sex with her husband, she's actually fantasizing about being raped by 3 guys at once. And that's how you know I'm a real socialist. And even in my rape fantasies, you're sharing the pussy 3 times. Most of the good pussies are trickling up to the 1%. April 15th is coming, he says. We wanted to release 10 years of tax returns. April 15th, 2019 will be the 10th year. So I think you will see them. He also said Trump should do the same. But he doesn't have to, Bernie. But he predicted his would be dull in comparison to the president's, he says. You're greedy just like the rest of us.
Give me the fucking money, you hear me? You hear me? I gotta come here and bust my balls. Give me the fucking money.
He says not being a billionaire, not having investments in Saudi Arabia, wherever he has investments all over the world, mine will be a bit more boring, but I will do better. Here I am seen having my taint licked, not enjoying it 1 minute whatsoever. But nothing to be ashamed of, Bernie. I hope you're a multi-millionaire, but just give it away. You know what I mean? This is you fucking libs who make like George Clooney's of the world, Ben Affleck's, whoever, Bill Maher. Why do you still follow the tax, Robert De Niro? Why do you still follow the tax guidelines as far as percentages you're supposed to pay based on your rate? Why don't you give, if you made $12 million last year, why don't you give $10 million to the homeless or whoever the fuck, whatever charity you pretend to care about? What's stopping you? What's stopping any of you rich libs in Hollywood from doing that? The answer is nothing, but none of you should do it because you're hypocrites. And you live in giant fucking houses behind gated fucking walls, and you're guarded by guys with guns. Everything you piss on. Do as I say, not as I do. But good for you, Bernie. Enjoy the goddamn money. You're going to be dead in 5 minutes anyways. You're 171. Look at you there. He's got an ulcer in his stomach. Right there. It's like a fucking bee's nest. Bleeding from his ass. He probably had dairy that morning. Anyways, don't be ashamed of it. Flaunt it. He bought a nice house. Remember right after the election up in Vermont? He bought a house. He said, remember, I'm a democratic socialist. I can't help it if my books sell well. I got a lot of friends in high places, and that's that. Now, here's a guy that I can relate to more than Bernie Sanders, actually. I think I can. A UK man, that would be a guy in England, with a sick obsession for publicly masturbating near horses. That is sick. You should do it on the horse if you're enjoying the ride. Near horses has been arrested twice within 24 hours for the same lewd offense.
Hello, I'm Mr. Red. Hello, I'm Mr. Red.
Malcolm Downs, who has a long history of pleasuring himself in front of the mammals, was arrested on February 18th at the Kentucky Derby. He was in gate 6 with his pants. No. He was arrested February 18th after he was spotted touching himself in a field in the city of Hull, England. Remind me to sell that condo. God fucking damn. You know what I'm saying? He's touching himself up in here. A witness initially thought that Downs was urinating. Don't you know the difference between yellow and, I don't know, off-white? The guy, he thought he was urinating. Soon became clear he was, in fact, masturbating. This activity went on for 3 or 4 minutes. His penis was exposed for about 10 minutes. When police grilled Downs about the illicit act, he told detectives, I was sat on a bench. I was feeling sexy, so I started to. What the fuck does that even mean? Downs told cops he knew what he was doing was wrong, but look at the ass on that horse, he said. It reminds me of a young Esther roll. Oh, he didn't say that. The suspect, there he is. He doesn't look like a sick fuck, does he? I'll tell you what's surprising. He's jerking off near stables and not looking into the fucking room of the, Maple Street Elementary School. This guy's got pedophile written all over him, but he likes horses. He's oh my God, the world. Don't judge, Nick. I will. Anyways, the suspect was then released on bail after saying he had been planning to see his doctor for libido-suppressing drugs. What do you call that, saltpeter? There's not enough in the world. I would love to see this guy like at, I don't know. I don't want to say a cop's funeral. Where else can you see horses? Can you imagine sitting next to this guy during the Super Bowl and a Budweiser ad comes on, those Clydesdales? Jesus Christ, he'll decorate your face like Fudgy the Whale. Sick bastard. But within 24 hours, Downs could not resist his urges. It was back at the same field where he was caught by an off-duty cop. You ever think he's getting off by the cops or people? It's got nothing to do with the horses. Does it? I mean, they're a good-looking animal, but I have never grabbed them. You know what I mean? And I've seen some nice horses. I got a horse named Lollipop. The offender was ultimately jailed for 8 months. Downs admitted he had a problem. Oh, that's big of you. But that he got a thrill out of pleasuring himself. Yeah, but where do the horses work in? Who doesn't get a thrill out of pleasuring yourself? That's what it is. It's a nice... I don't have to beat the fucking Preakness to do it. Guys, he's probably got a picture of Barbaro. His bedroom. He also had 9 breaches of antisocial behavior order for masturbating in public. Again, I don't think it's about the horses, but you don't want to be in like Times Square. It's all dirty. There's no privacy. The court order had barred downs from entering any field, stable, or area that may have equine animals across the northern England county of Humberside. Yes, Jason, anything?
No, it's just gross.
You think it's gross?
Just a little bit.
It is. How about the poor horses just looking at them? My. I understand if the guy was hung well and shit, he's doing. He could just say, "Look, I was comparing myself to that fucking." I should know a horse's name. I have one, but what do we got here? Dates, nickdip.com. Hey, how'd you know? Did you guys see that? How did you know that was coming? That was tremendous. Friday, April 26th, Steel Stacks, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Come see me live. Friday and Saturday, May 3rd and 4th, Side Splitters in Tampa, Florida. Friday and Saturday, May 10th and 11th, Governors in Levittown, New York. Friday, May 31st, Jonathan's at Gunkwit, Maine. Saturday, June 1, White's of Westport, Mass. Saturday, August 10th, Newtown Theater, Newtown, Pennsylvania. Friday and Saturday, August 16th and 17th, Helium Comedy Club in Philadelphia. Friday, October 18th, the Ridgefield Playhouse, Ridgefield, Connecticut. Friday, November 15th, Cortland Repertory Theater, Cortland, New York. And the New Year's Eve back at the Tarrytown Music Hall in Tarrytown, New York. That'll be a doozy. Keep checking nickdip.com because this schedule will change. Obviously, I'll be adding dates throughout the year here and there when I can. So please check that. Come see me live. I'll sell you a Nick DiPaolo shot class and some plastic exploding shoes. Yes, Ryan?
So I have some super chats for you, sir.
Let me hear them, buddy.
Okay, this is a mouthful. U.S. would Vlad them in the pee hole. U for greed says, debate Kyle Kulinski. Our economy is not good.
Debate? What makes you think this is meet the fucking press? Our economy is not good? Really? Well, unemployment's at record lows. Wages have risen. Quit watching MSNBC. It's stronger than it's been in a long time. It goes up and down. Do you understand that's how it works? It's a very fluid thing. As you speak, you might be right. It's not going to get great guns, but it's a hell of a lot better than it was under the fucking Marxist asshole. Only president in the history of the United States who never hit fucking, 3% growth, I think it was. Next.
Patrick Dorr says, Lewinsky had horse teeth. Do this guy and Bill have something in common?
She had horse teeth, yeah, but she was all right. You know what I mean? Bill was like, sure. I just close my eyes and pretend that I'm at a parade. After she blows me, I throw a sugar cube and a couple of carrots. Don't cost me a thing. She had a pretty mouth. You got a pretty mouth. Her life's ruined. Anything else?
Chanel Julio says, if the limey horse lover loved jerking it to male horses, would that be worse?
Who said he didn't? They just said horses, right? Who said no? Actually, it wouldn't. I mean, a horse is a horse for whatever the course of the fucking, whether it has a vag or. Horses aren't known for their giant vaginas. They are known for their, their giant spleefs. Anyhow, speaking of the animal world, a woman's infection turned out to be bees living in her eye, feeding on her tears.
Your tears are so yummy and sweet. Oh, the tears of unfathomable sadness. Yummy, you guys.
Doctors treating a Taiwanese woman with an eye infection were surprised when they found 4 bees embedded in her eye. The 29-year-old Taiwanese woman named He. Oh, boy. That's actually her name. She's not like a transgender pulling that call me they, we, fucking him shit. I don't think. Her name is He. Went to Fuyin University Hospital. They have terrific tapioca pudding there. I had a foot infection when I was in Taiwan. In Taiwan, after experiencing severe pain in her eye, their doctors found the bees feeding on her tear ducts under her swollen fucking eyelids.
Your tears are so yummy and sweet. Oh, the tears of unfathomable.
Yours are the sweetest eyes I've ever seen. And you can tell everybody. The hospital's head of ophthalmology, Dr. Hung Chi Ting, filling Dick Joe, said at a press conference that such bees nest near graves and in fallen trees, so chances of coming across them while hiking in the mountains are high. I got to worry about that because I plan on burying my parents on a mountain in fucking Taiwan. Break out the goggles. I was visiting and tidying a relative's grave with my family. I was squatting down, taking a pee on my Aunt Polly's grave and pulling out weeds. Apparently they didn't get along. He said, meaning she, at a news conference. Jesus. Assuming that sand or dirt had gotten into my eye, she said, I cleaned my eye with water at the time. However, she started to experience a stinging pain, and her eye would tear up constantly. That's terrible. Now think about if you were white, Miss He, and you had big round eyes like me. They would have found them immediately. Nick, that's kind of right. Well, you can't do a Taiwanese story about bees living in somebody's eye in Taiwan and not bring up there's a different shape. That would be fucking comedy neglect. This is a true story. My father worked with a guy. We used to rent his camp up in Maine. His name was George. Don't remember his last name. True fucking story. Mosquitoes got up into his sinus cavity and laid eggs for like months. And his nose kept getting bigger and bigger. I remember saying to my dad, when the fuck did you start hanging out with W.C. Fields? It was like a fucking... And they finally went in there. And a fucking whole nest of mosquitoes. And the same guy had an earwig crawling to his fucking ear. What's with the insects climbing into this guy? His head was like a vending machine with Zagnut bars with no fucking wrapping on. The bugs were just crawling over this. That's a true story. The fucking earwig went in his... And his nose was like filled with mosquito larvae. Yummy, yummy. In my tummy. Anyways, during the press conference, Dr. Hung said, I saw something that looked like insect legs, so I pulled them out under a microscope slowly and one at a time without damaging their bodies. You wouldn't want to kill something that fucking got into your fucking eyes. The insects were later identified as sweat bees, which was a good group in the 70s. They used to open for canned heat. Dr. Huang explained to reporters that even though sweat bees do not attack people, they're attracted to the perspiration of humans. Sweat bees, also known as Heliconidae, are small but not aggressive. They set up shop in our fucking eyelid. What's your definition of aggressive? Jesus H. Christ, Heloise. However, sweat bees are attracted to perspiration and have a tendency to land on humans to obtain moisture and salts from their sweat. Horny girls like that too, by the way. They do. They like after you work out. If you don't smell like, dog shit. They like your fucking testosterone, your hormones come out through your skin. Jason, I'm telling you, it's a true story.
I'll have to start working out then.
You do. You should work out, and when you get all sweaty at Jack LaLanne's or some other faggy place, you rip off your shirt and just fucking bumping up against broads. They'll come after you like you're wearing Canoe or Drakkar, and it's 1971. Crowd appalled when man pulls out gun to defend himself against attackers in Chicago. Video emerged Monday of a man drawing a firearm to defend himself against two attackers near Chicago's Magnificent Mile. That's not even in the bad area. Filmed from inside a McDonald's. Where else? The video shows two males, I would say black males, what appears to be a security guard outside of the restaurant. The assailants slam the security guard into the wall of the restaurant and grapple with him as he tries to free himself. This is just disgusting. But here's what I want you to notice. Somebody's filming it from inside a McDonald's. It's happening outside. I just want you to make a mental note of when the people start to panic and they think it's a dangerous situation.
Don't you move, you motherfucker! I'll blow your brains out!
Okay. Isn't that funny, huh? Everything was fine while the old white man was being triple teamed, the double teamed by two fucking scumbags. No alarm there. Just watching, chewing on their McRibs or whatever the fuck, their quarter pounders or their 11 sandwiches for 12 cents. No problem. But as soon as the old white man pulled out a gun, oh, now it's a panic situation. Now they show alarm. And I'm sure MSNBC, ABC, CBS, I got to stop with the coffee. The teeth are getting very dingy. I'm sure you'll all be running that, right? All you fucking pro-gun control people be showing why you should have a gun, and everybody should, and people will be much more behaved. I don't know how he restrained himself and didn't put a couple in their ass. You don't have to kill them. But the creepy thing in that clip is the response of the people filming it, who had no problem. Nobody went out to help the old guy. Just watching him get fucking beat up by two people an eighth of his age. But when he pulled the gun, oh no! Angry white male! That's how it'll be portrayed. You won't see it anywhere else. Maybe you might see it on Fox News or talk about it on an AM radio. You're not going to hear about it or see it. Perfect example why we should all be armed. Yeah, but it could go off and somebody could get wounded as they're getting a McSlurpee. The NRA, you should jump on that and you should make that commercial, run it on a fucking loop. People inside the McDonald's, though, had no problem. No, in response to the guy pulling out the fucking gun. The guy is just, he's had it with his scumbags.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
As the attackers run off, the pepper spray can be seen rolling on the ground next to the man's feet. Somebody came out, grabbed the pepper, brought it in, put it on their fries. That's a true... I'm telling you, it's right in the fucking story, yo! As he walks to the edge of the McDonald's property line with his gun still pointed at the two fleeing teens. Good for him. Good for him. Chicago police. By the way, you should have... That was an actual... That's what a race crime looks like. I know you still got Jussie Smollett on your mind. We don't have to fake it. They actually happen to white people. There's so many of them that, Chicago police say no report was filed in connection with the incident and the man's identity is still unclear. You think the police are going to do anything for these little scumbags? After what Jussie Smollett did, pulled his shit? Even the black cops are going, chalk one up for Whitey here. Police announced the arrest of 21 people. 21 people on Saturday afternoon, not night, afternoon in the Magnificent Mile area where the attack occurred. It's not like a bad area as far as I know. Things are just getting worse in Chicago. The CWB reported Chicago police are taking a less tolerant approach to handling what they call large group, that's in quote, incidents. That will be large black or brown groups. Yeah, I just said it because if you don't believe me, you just can go online. There's a zillion viral videos of people bum rushing Foot Lockers and bodegas and whatever. Large group incident. Large group incident. After more lenient strategies proved disastrous last year. So good for you, Chicago police. I'm a big fan. That's all I got to say. You know what I'm saying? The cop says there's a serious problem. We have to stop it. We have a limited number of tools in our toolbox. Chicago Alderman Brian Hopkins said of the new strategy to contain mobs. Arrest is one of the things we can do, so we're doing it. Wow, what a novel idea. Giant groups of kids are surrounding innocent people and beating the fuck out of them and mugging them. So guess what? We're going to start arresting people. How to go, Alderman. How to be on top of it. Watch the ACLU and Southern poverty laws. Watch all the suits coming now. Should have fucking martial law in Chicago for the next 10 fucking years. And again, that Magnificent Mile, maybe it's a bad area now. I don't know. The McDonald's adjacent attack comes in the wake of a weekend gun violence that saw 28 people hurt and 3 killed across the city. That's actually a slow weekend for Chicago. The gun violent issues in Chicago, which has some of the strictest, I'll repeat, the strictest gun control laws in the country, reflect national concerns about gun control in the U.S. Proponents of stricter gun laws say the bans could result in safer communities, while opponents point to examples of defensive use of guns, like I just showed you, as a critical constitutional right. Gee, who's right there? This whole fucking notion that if you got rid of every gun that the bad guys wouldn't find a way to get, it is the silliest thing I've ever heard in my life. I'm just sorry. That's why they're called outlaws. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba. What else is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Here you go. I'll tell this story right after that story. This will make sense. California, again, the most retarded state in the union politically. I love the state and most of the people, but the politicians are just retarded. They're fucking retarded. Headline, California weighs opposing plans to deter killings by police. It calls for them not to use lethal force unless it is absolutely necessary. Gee, I kind of think that's how the laws read now. Don't they? Yeah, they do. That someone's life is an imminent... I'll say that again. It calls for them not to use lethal force unless it's absolutely necessary that someone's life is in imminent danger, said Democratic moron Assemblywoman Shirley Weber of San Diego, who wrote the bill that advocates hope will be a model for others. Yes, let's model ourselves on California, where you can wade knee-deep in dirty needles and fucking human feces in San Francisco, or you can be stabbed in the ass walking through a bunch of tents filled with homeless people right outside of Anaheim. Let's model on what they're doing. There are other means and methods that could be used because you respect life. Oh, that's just a fucking naive, stupid...
Or could I grab this microphone and I'd beat your brains out with it because that's what you deserve. That's what you deserve.
It faces intense opposition, which I hoped it would, from law enforcement groups, which are urging a different plan, requiring that every department have policies on when officers should use de-escalation tactics and other alternatives to deadly force. See, you're over... Oh, there it is. Shirley Ann Weber. There you go. Wasn't she on Sanford and Son? Did she play George? Or Grady? Fred, now don't do that. Fred, don't do that now, Fred. She's got Bill Cosby's nose, Richard Simmons' hair, Ray Lewis's neck. Oh, Shirley, I'm sure you're a nice lady. You're as dumb as your fucking haircut. I'm sorry. I'm just sorry about it. The law enforcement bill enshrines current court standards in state law, allowing officers to use deadly force where they have a reasonable fear of being harmed. The standard has made it rare for officers to be charged after a shooting, and rarer still for them to be convicted, which is the way it should be. When you're out there every night, putting your neck on the fucking line, you're in a dark alley with a gangbanger, and one of the cases kid pulls out a cell phone and points it, which is fucking suicide by cop. They mentioned that in this article. You have a split second as a cop to decide whether that's a gun and you're going to go, you want to go home and see your family. What do you think? I think we should sort of, and again, they're out there protecting us every night. I think we should sort of give them the benefit of the doubt. I know, it's hard when I hear of a Crip or a Blood being shot. He was turned out he just had a cell phone or a salami sandwich in his hand. But the law is fine the way it is, okay? And this whole notion that unarmed black men are being shot, we've debunked it a million times on the show. Cops have millions of interactions a year with civilians. And it's like less than 1% end in shootings and less than half of 1% where the guy was unarmed. Yes, Ryan.
I got a super chat from Northern Jackalope.
Okay.
He says, Nick, can we ban the word community? For the love of God, I'm sick of it.
I've been saying that for years, fella. I've been saying that for years because everybody has their own community, but we don't have one big community. We have the black community. We have the LGBTQ community. We have the Hispanic community, the queer gay rights community. We have, but it's true. Again, it's a word that just, that and healing, that one really gets under my... And the word wonderful. I fucking hate the word wonderful. I've hated it since... It's the silliest sounding. It's wonderful. Ever say it slow? It's the most retarded. It's wonderful. I was wondered, what the fuck? Never used it in my life. How was the blowjob? It was fucking great. It was wonderful, Dave. Anyways, hundreds of chanting supporters of Weber's bill marched, just fucking dumpy, to the Capitol on Monday wearing yellow American Civil Liberties Union t-shirts backed by a brass band. Supporters held 3 American flags listing the names of dozens of people killed in police shootings. Did you have a flag listing the hundreds of cops who have been gunned down in the last few years? Do you have that flag too? No, you don't? You only care about one side of the argument? Huh? How many cops have died by scumbags that you're trying to protect? Anyways, Sierra Hamilton, a cousin of Deontay Yarber, a car theft suspect who was killed by Barstow police last year in a busy Southern California parking lot, said Weber's bill would allow that accountability. Yarber was shot after police said he struck 2 squad cars and nearly struck an officer. Of course, the family says the car was barely moving. What does that tell us about policing in California and America? It's that black and brown people are not safe from state-sanctioned violence. That's what Hamilton said, whoever the fuck that idiots. And
No, they're ignorant. That's ignorant.
Yet despite supporters' expectations and law enforcement fears, Plumas County Sheriff Deputy Ed Obayashi, a use of force expert, called Weber's bill an exercise in legal futility, and it should be, because he predicts judges will interpret the language the same way they do current court rulings. Exactly. Anyhow, it's fine the way it is. And when somebody gets killed, they're unarmed, and somebody gets shot in the back, and there's clear evidence that there was incompetence by the police, guess what? They go to fucking prison, and they go to jail. Keep believing the fucking nonsense. It's all a fucking con game. The fact that the Democrats were lining up last week to suck Al Sharpton, the biggest racist on the planet's ass, it's a con game. They'll never admit or acknowledge that they'll have made progress, and the cops do the best they could. Mark Furman said it best. Even Oprah put him on the show. This is what changed after the whole OJ thing. Remember, he said the N-word over the radio, and they were trying to paint him as a race. And he went on and said, I spent every night in my last 25 years in black neighborhoods trying to protect black people, and I'm a fucking racist. When cops do wrong, most of them will go to jail or prison. The system works fine. But don't make it so they don't want to get out of their cop cars like they did in New York and Chicago, where they'll be they were trying to pass legislation where the cop will be personally liable, can be sued personally. They did that in Chicago, remember? And it went through the roof. Crime because the cops didn't want to get out of the car. But you keep pushing. It's fucking unbelievable. Anyways, that is it for today. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, go to cameo.com and I'll shoot you off a video to one of your enemies or your friends, whatever you like. Go to nickdip.com for my dates. And you guys keep thinking it. I'll keep saying it. My special, A Breath of Fresh Air, is being edited right now, so look for that soon. I will talk to you guys tomorrow on Patreon. Take care of yourselves, everybody.